ever been to Flagstaff, you're familiar with the train. If you've ever lived in Flagstaff, you're familiar with having to try to sleep through the noises of the train. Pretty much anywhere in Flagstaff. But hopefully I can still make a video. What I want to talk about is, how you're looked upon differently when you don't have a solid relationship with a female. If you're a male and you don't have a solid girlfriend or wife, how people just look at you differently. It is what it is. I think back to basically my brother always wanted total control and had to influence everything, the way I dressed, what hobbies I did, how I spoke. But he was a little bit at least kind of backed up. Well, basically, as soon as he met his to-be wife, that's when he became more abusive and demeaning me primarily through her, which was another narcissist. But then at least that was when I was around age 21 or 20, and she's younger than me. But she ended up going into graduate school in the same area I went to graduate school. And so here she is, just bad-mouthing me, shaming me, giving me the stare, the evil narcissistic stare all night, every dinner we had together. Just a thorn in my side, like Paul the Apostle. Man, I should have waited for this thing. I figured it was almost done. It's not even near being done. But they both of them backed off a little bit when I got this Spaniard, this beautiful. She looked like the Band de Soleil model. Do you remember back from like the 90s and even 80s? I think Band de Soleil. She was very attractive. She was a ballerina. She was raised in Spain. And she spoke Corsican and typical Spanish. And then she lived in Russia for 3 years being a ballerina. So she also was fluent in Russian, and then moved to America and was fluent in English. So she spoke 4 languages fluently. To get more than 2 languages fluent, you have to be a highly intelligent person. There's no two ways about it. Because your brain has to be able to store so much vocabulary. Even people that have 1 language can't store a good vocabulary. So to be able to have 4 languages, so she was very educated, very cultured. She knew her wine, she knew her literature, and she was very, very quiet, but at the same time, very, very observant. And so at these family dinners that she would come to, they would be on their best behavior. And, so I just saw so clear as day, how much better I was treated by narcissistic family members when I had an attractive, intelligent woman on my side. And since most people are kind of got some level of toxicity, most people do not have the Holy Spirit, you are going to be looked at much, much differently if you have a female in a committed relationship. Not a girl, not just bringing by one girl 1 week and then going a month, showing up single, and then one girl a different week. No, I'm talking about like a long-term girlfriend that's in a committed relationship, or a wife. I moved up here 2 years ago thinking I was going to form a new family for myself. But no job, much less a career, and no woman. There's no way, I was going to be able to fit into a small town. And at one of these Bible study groups, this biker, like a real biker, Harley dude, a little bit older than myself, showed up, and it was just the two of us. We didn't realize it had been canceled for that week. So we just hung out for like 15-20 minutes waiting for everyone else to show up, talking about everything. He had God, he had gone sober himself, and but he dressed like a biker, and he said, good luck trying to fit in. I'm moving out next month. I've had it. I just can't fit in up here. And I can't get respect. I can't get any friendships. I'm out of here. And he'd been up here like 3 years. And, I hate to admit it, but I thought, I got a better chance than him, But nah, not really. I'm an individual, and I'm unapologetic for anything I do, and that's what you'll often be as a scapegoat by the time you're in your 50s, like myself. Because you've been apologizing your whole life just for following your heart's desires, for just being who you want to be. You're not any bad person. You're just marching to the beat of your own drum, and you're shamed. You're ridiculed, you're gossiped about, you're put down. People always, telling you, why don't you be more like this? Or why don't you, take your education and go into make your own business? Why don't you have a girlfriend? Why don't you have a wife? Why don't you stop riding your motorcycle so much and get into tennis? Why don't you? It's just like, shut up. I'm gonna do what I want to do. And then even like, controlling parents telling you, this is how you should spend your money. You can't live in that apartment complex. This is the best car you should buy. I went and shopped for it for you. I found it for you. This would be the best car for you to do. Are you the one that goes to work every day, Monday through Friday, 8 hours a day to earn the money that I have in my bank account? No? Well, then shut up. I'm going to buy what kind of vehicle I want to buy. But yeah, shaming men online is very, very common these days if you kind of get checked out of the dating scene. Women here in America are very, very privileged and have high expectations of their man. So far as income, even things like that you can't change, your height, if you're bald or not. It's like, and I haven't been in a relationship for over 5 years, but from what I hear, and the last girl I was in a relationship was from China. But, and then that's something else they'll put down. If you date a girl from Asia or Thailand, then that's something else entirely you're going to get shamed for. But all you're looking for is a woman that's going to let you live your life and is going to let you make your own decisions with your own money that you went to work for and slaved your rear end off for, that you went to graduate school to get the job, to earn the money. It's like, back off. I'm a free, sovereign being. And, so it's a double-edged sword. But, I kind of feel bad, because a lot of young men that have those high testosterone levels are checking out of the dating scene, and at that age, with the shaming from society and the shaming online, already they got all this testosterone they don't know what to do with. Not that I'm promoting premarital sex, but at least they could plan on getting married and have kind of a normal relationship with a wife where you can take all this sexual energy you have and have an outlet for it. And it's just hard, so, because I've seen the effects with my own family members, the way I'm treated when I have an intelligent, good-looking woman. We dated for 3 years, me and that Spaniard, and she was at most family functions. Or the way I was treated when I didn't. And there was a huge difference. And then you'll see the same thing in society. Any friend I had that had a wife, and I would come over, there was some kind of thickness in the air, from the female. Comes some kind of disdain, some level. And then right out in the open, you'd even get questions like, why don't you have a girlfriend? Do you want me to set you up? They just couldn't accept, well, maybe I had a difficult relationship and for the time being, I'm happy single. That didn't register. That's like, well, that's abnormal, which means you're abnormal. Get away from my husband. You're going to influence him in a negative way or something. So, I had so many friends that had, solid wives that had been married a couple decades, and you'd get that negative impression. So, just some thoughts on the matter. Everyone should be allowed to make their own decisions and be comfortable with their own decisions. And when they're ready to try again, they're ready to try again. But if you're in that boat and you're not happy with dating, because before I went through 2 relationships, both before 5 years ago, but around maybe 8 or 9 years ago, 10 years ago, I'd fully jumped into the dating scene and did the online dating and really, really tried. And all I would meet is divorced women with children that only wanted a boy toy. They didn't want to meet my family. They would act like they were willing to enter a real relationship, but they weren't. And most of them secretly would still go on their online dating site and still look for better options. So what you were was a guy that would send them nice text messages here and there throughout the day and would take them out once a week to a nice restaurant and then maybe have some hanky-panky. And that's all you were to them, was a nice meal, a little bit of hanky-panky, some ego-boosting text throughout the week until a better option came along. I couldn't find anything more than that. And they're getting all this money from their ex-husband for child support, alimony, and they would have a good paying job, so they would have good money, but they would always expect me to pay for that once a week dinner at a nice restaurant. And it's like, man, this isn't real. This isn't working for me. And that's all I could meet. Because if you're going to look for single women when you're in your late 40s, early 50s, I don't know. What kind of person doesn't want to try at least to have a committed husband and have some children? So I was willing, unlike most guys, I guess, to date those divorced women with children. So maybe that was my downfall. I don't know. Just thinking out loud, feeling bad for people that are young and don't have anyone. And even feeling a little bit bad for people myself that always have to have that question mark above people's heads. And why aren't you in a relationship? So everyone, just be happy. Draw near to the Lord, and He will make you happy all day, all night. I go to bed singing songs of praise and happy and tears. I wake up singing songs of praise. Get close to the Lord, and you don't need anyone. God bless. Here comes another train. Woo!